Hello, everyone. This is Christian Duke from ProgressiveActivist.com. We're joined by our 6th Congressional District candidate for the Democratic Party, Nancy Jo Kemper. Nancy, how are you today?
Doing great, Chris. I'm glad to do this for you.
Awesome. And I actually saw your presentation. I was very impressed with you because I thought, really honestly, you spoke from the heart. Some very challenging questions under time conditions, and you did it fantastically. Talk to us a little bit about why you decided to run for Congress.
Well, people often ask me why a semi-retired grandmother and a minister would do something like this. But the fact is that it's part of what I've spent my whole life doing, which is to be engaged in progressive causes that will create justice and community. So, and basically, a minister, and my life has been to mend what's torn in people's lives or in society, to try to fix what's broken in institutions and that keeps people from working together, and to create communities of hope and care. We're best when we're pulling together as a country. And that's what I believe in. I believe in this great American experiment we've got.
Absolutely. And I'm a firm believer that the House of Representatives, it's really the people's assembly. You know, unlike the Senate where you get 6 years, here you get 2 years, you got to hit the ground running, and you see your constituents on a daily basis. Having the ministerial background as well, I really appreciated that, because when you answered questions about racial and social justice, you could tell that you were really speaking from the heart. And it's okay to be religious and from the left. I mean, all too often we hear the right sort of monopolize, faith in God and Christian compassion. When you get elected, I know one of the big things for you is consumer rights. When you get elected, what will you do to prevent, scandals like that facing Wells Fargo now, where, they were caught with their hand in the cookie jar and doing all sorts of nefarious things?
Well, listen, the Republicans have been out to shrink government, as Grover Norquist says, so that it will be small enough to go down the drain of a bathtub, which is impossible. We need the government to do all manner of things for us. And amongst the things they do for us is they protect us. Regulations, another word for regulation is protection. So we have the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, we have the Environmental Protection Bureau, we have the Food and Dairy Administration, and we have the Center for Disease Control. All of those are ways in which our government interacts with us to protect us from corporate greed, which could overcome basic humanity and put money ahead of ethics and taking care of people. And so I'm passionate about those things, and I'm also passionate about equal justice for every single human being, regardless of their background, their sexual orientation, their culture, their beliefs. We have got to affirm people and then understand what gifts they bring to make this a far better society. We're always an evolving country. Somebody once said, the proof of government is not whether it's powerful, but when government's good. When it's good to and kind, and remembers those who have gotten themselves in trouble, or life has hit them below the knees and taken the wind out of them. All of those things, that safety net is what we're there for as government. And so I'm committed to making sure those are strong, that we do the kind of reforms we need to do to keep Social Security strong, to rebuild our middle class, and help our young people.
Absolutely. And one thing, again, to reiterate that I really like about your candidacy is you have the support of progressives. Progressives are excited about you. Democrats, liberals, there's so many blocks within our party. It's just one giant tent, and everyone is so ecstatic about Nancy Jo. But you also talked about the fight for good, and you also talked about power. And all too often, the powerful have the money. You're up against a candidate that has seemingly endless resources, but yet you have a better message, and you want to do better by the citizens. So how do you combat this seemingly endless money trail behind Andy Barr?
He does have close to $2 million in his campaign treasury, and in fact, he was called the Cash Kid in his first 6 months in office when he was very first elected, because he was put on the Financial Services Committee, and most of his donors are not Kentucky people. They are corporations. They are the mega banks and financial institutions outside the state of Kentucky that finance a lot of his leadership pack and his own personal campaign efforts. I'm running because I believe in the people. I've had a lifetime of experience of working with people in all walks of life, whether it was from the Urban League in Greater Little Rock, Arkansas, where I learned about my own white prejudice and biases, whether it was working with a blue-collar congregation where the majority of the people were union members, or white-collar congregations where people were college-educated, graduate degrees, to my little bitty congregation where there are people that are movers and shakers in central Kentucky. And then my 20 years with the Kentucky Council of Churches have kind of led me to have an instinct for how people feel and what they need to make government work and to be responsive and to recover this sense of hope, because so many people have lost hope right now. And that's what I want to address.
Absolutely. And of course, you work with Celis Walder, who's your campaign manager, who's just done so many awesome things in the progressive movement. If people want to get involved with you, phone bank, canvas, donate, how can they get in touch with you?
There's KemperForCongress.com, www.Kemper4FORCongress.com. And we have a coordinated campaign now with the United States Senate and all the down ticket races for the State House, because it's essential. Having worked with the state legislature for nearly 2 decades, state government controls and affects so much of our people's lives. We must keep it in the control of Democrats, because we have a governor who is just toxic to the whole political experiment that is democracy. And he agrees, like most Republicans, that the smaller the government, the better. So we really must win this race.
Okay, well, I really appreciate it. Celis is going to be bringing a little card here, so you can check that out. And we'll hold that there for 2 seconds. Thank you so very much, Nancy Jo, for taking the time for speaking with us. Best of luck on the campaign trail, and hopefully the good message will beat out the rich one.
Thank you.